Hey folks, welcome back to another Hobby Nightmare. Well, two Hobby Nightmares today. One of which I've read cover to cover, the other I haven't, so that should be interesting to go through. Hopefully you've had a good week and you've reached the end of it. If you're not at the end of your week, then thank you for working over the weekend and keeping the wheels turning and the world turning around. Thank you very much to make sure we can all have some time off. And yeah, let's jump into it, shall we? If you like what I do, the Patreon's down below. And if you also like what I do but can't afford to give anything on the Patreon to get me a beer, then, subscribe to the channel, maybe, Do whatever you want to do. Let's get into it, shall we? Matt says, and you didn't give me another option for your name, Matt, so I just used that. Anyway. Hello, North. Love the channel. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, man. Also, thanks for educating the next generation. I hope the forthcoming industrial action will convince the government to pay our teachers what they're worth. That is true. I will say that. In the UK, it is a murky situation on where teachers get paid from and how. I'm not a part of that. I can't, I was invited to be a part of the strike, but then I told them, look, I'm in the private sector, so what, you want me to go without money when what you're campaigning for won't even benefit me? Like, I know that's a selfish thing, but, like, I need to earn money, guys. Like, that's not even... I left the profession because they're not paying enough for what we do. I left the profession simply because I wanted to do it privately because I wanted to get paid what I think my education skill is worth. And I am now, and it's great. So with that as my advice to teachers, if you're struggling, there's always the private sector. There's always ways you can get around it. You're not letting anyone down by doing that, by the way. It took me ages to come around to that way of thinking. Anyway, moving on. I have a hobby nightmare. I used to play 2nd edition 40k when I was about 13 in the late 90s with a group of about 6 friends from school. We didn't really understand the rules, and we would try to play massive 4-way games, which would take half the day to do the first turn, and then we'd get bored and play computer games instead. Oh man, yeah, I feel your pain. I started way too young as well. Way too young to start playing games on our own anyway. I'm not sure I ever finished a game of 40k until I got back into the hobby in 2020. My nightmare revolves around one particular friend, who I shall call Rage Quit. Because Dave is overused. Fair enough. Give Dave a break. I can only describe Rage Quit as a poisonous ball of fury with no personal hygiene and a penchant for explosive violence. He looked like Andrew from Big Mouth. I don't know who that is. Except short and with a permanent expression of malicious glee, like a honey badger about to enjoy a good ball chewing. I can already hear a Scouse voice saying, "Why are you friends with him then?" Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what I was going to say. I literally had, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, the answer is simple. We were Warhammer nerds coming into adolescence in the late 90s. Pickings were rather slim. Okay, fair enough. Anyway, one day, Rage Quit invited us all around for a massive game of 40k. We all got our armies out, mostly grey plastic with the occasional painted model, which looked like it had been dipped in a tub of Dulux, and began setting up 2 huge games. My Imperial Guard faced Rage Quit's Eldar. Pride of place in his force was a brand new Eldar grav tank, which at the time cost something like £25. Rage Quit, as the name suggests, hated losing and therefore simply didn't. He would cheat at every possible opportunity, and so he always went first. There was no point arguing. He was first, and his forces did some damage to mine. Then it was my turn. After a round of shooting, my Lemon Rust blasted his grav tank off the table. One of our group, I'll call him Target Practice, let out a small cheer at this reversal of fortunes. This was a mistake. Rage Quit reacted by sweeping his hand across the table, knocking models over to the floor. I can feel North cringing at this point about "don't touch my fucking models." We were 13 and knocking them onto the floor probably improved them. Okay, fair enough. At least you can come around to, being young. But this was only the start. Rage Quit then deliberately walked to a bag in the corner of the garbage where we had been playing, withdrew his hockey stick and handful of pucks, and then, with calm deliberateness, began blasting them at full force at target practice, who was standing by the garage doors. All target practice could do was huddle up into a ball and cover his head. Though fortunately, Rage Quit was as shit at hockey as he was at 40k, and so didn't hit him. He must have fired about 6 or 7 pucks when Rage Quit's dad, who was an absolute unit and completely sound bloke, whose only regret in life was, I imagine, spawning such a dysfunctional degenerate, opened the garage door and told us all to get out. So we decided to play Final Liberation on the computer, and the game was abandoned. If this wasn't ridiculous enough, story on its own, on our way to the computer, it was the 90s, there was only one, we went into Rage Quit's bedroom for some reason, maybe to get something, and there was a crusty yellowed pillow lying on his bed. Oh, Jesus Christ. It had a very noticeable and... Oh, no, dude. Yeah, it had unwashed maleness emanating from it, fair enough. One of the group pointed and simply said, "What the F is that?" To which Rage Quit hastily grabbed the pillow and threw it into a wardrobe, replying nothing, sheepishly. Rage Quit was obviously a cross between a corn berserker and a spawn of Nurgle, and is a big part of why I left the hobby for 20 years shortly after. Anyway, keep up the good work and have a beer on me. I joined the Patreon. Thank you very much, man. And thank you very much for grossing me out. I was literally, my tea was halfway to my face when I read that last bit there. This happens a lot with people when they leave the hobby, not because of any sort of huge incident, but because one person has turned them into thinking, if I join the hobby, this is the kind of person that I must be, associating with. It's not. The amount of chads and normal people that I know in the hobby far outweighs the amount of actual cringe artards who are in the hobby, to be honest with you. But the artards are there, let's be honest with you. Let's be honest. There's lots of them around. And you will come across them. But you will come across them in any nerdy hobby. Nerds are the worst. We attract the worst. Not only do we attract the worst, we attract the damaged worst. You know what I mean? The worst are out there, in bars and restaurants and all that. They're in the normal world. We attract the absolute bottom feeders of them, unfortunately. And they will act out from time to time, as we see in our hobby nightmares. Anyway, Nightmare on John Street says, "Hey North, so I am in need of a bit of advice after sharing this hobby nightmare, if you don't mind, okay? It's about a recently ended relationship that has kind of blown the hobby into bits for me, and I'm very sorry to hear that. I have changed my name, the names of the others mentioned, and I will not share our location. No one beyond the 3 folks in this situation know what is going on, but if the others in the store do recognise themselves, I have only a few things to say. One of them is go fuck yourselves." So, on with the nightmare. Okay, this should be good. "My name is John, and I've been a wargamer for about 20 years. I play a whole host of armies, but recently started a Raven Guard army that I'm really proud of. I've been described as a decent looking guy who you would not think was a nerd, but I am, and I love my hobby. I am also, however, cripplingly shy, which has gotten me out of more promising situations than it has got me into, I must say, when it comes to women. That was until I met Jess, a fellow wargamer. She would come into our local game store and get on really well with all the folks there. She was easy to talk to and was very easy on the eye, with a bit of a flirty streak. She basically had most of the guys in there wrapped around her little finger, and when we got speaking, we generally hit it off really well. This was the first girl I asked out, 2 years ago. Don't get me wrong, I met girls online, at parties. I was no virgin or anything, but this was the first one I'd met the old-fashioned way, and just asked out there and then. I did so because Dave, our manager at the store, had noticed our obvious signs between each other and was a chad with the ladies, and so one day pulled me aside and jokingly ordered me to ask her out already. What a nice guy. Yeah, dude, yeah. I always love it when a guy who knows more than you isn't one of them, oh, I need her for myself kind of a guys. With great power comes great responsibility. I've always said, it takes a lot of willpower to know that a woman it might be interested in you, but then to step aside and say my friend needs her more. That's a bro right there. You know, that's a bro. I did, and she said yes. We went out for a sushi a few days later, and before long, we were dating each other properly, which I loved. Fuck off. I really need to know how to switch those off. I'm going to try and figure that out at some stage. Anyway. I did so because Dave, okay. I did, and she said yes. We went out for sushi a few days later, and before long, we were dating properly, which I loved. And a lot of the other dudes in the store thought I was quite lucky. Excellent. Anyway, a year goes by of us dating and talking about moving in together. Dave leaves the store, and another manager takes his place, Jamie. Now, Jamie is a decent-looking guy, and is quite the outrageous flirt. I mean, he basically flirts with everybody without qualification. I notice when he does it with Jess, she reacts in a positive way, and I let that go. It is what it is, right? Here's the thing, dude. Here's the thing. You need to pull up behaviours like that straight away. You can't let things like that slide. You know, be comfortable in your own skin, and be comfortable saying, listen, this is how I do it, right? This is how I do it. So if I notice a woman does that, and they have, right? If I notice a woman does that, she flirts with somebody else, whilst I'm there, I will say to her, don't do that because I won't say don't do that because it's hurting my feelings. No. I will say, do you want to be exclusive? Simple question. Do you want to be exclusive? And if she says yes, I'll say, well, why are you acting like you don't? Simple. If you don't want to be exclusive, I can go out and meet somebody else. I don't care. We can just be fuck buddies. I don't care. That's fine. I'll go and meet somebody else, and I'll keep you around as an option. That's fine. But, like, if that's not what this is, then we need to stop acting that way. And if she asks for examples, give her the example. Say, look, that's what you did. If you don't want to be exclusive, fair enough. I'll go and find someone else, and I'll keep you around if you want to be around. It doesn't bother me at all, you know? And if you don't want to be with me and you don't want to be exclusive, fine. Go off and go with somebody else. I'm just going to go over here and find someone who actually wants to be with me, you know? Just be honest. But say it in that way. Don't say it's hurting my feelings. Don't be a little bitch. Just say, no, look, I'll go and find someone else. If you're not the, you know, I don't want to, when my kids say to me, Dad, how did you meet Mum? I don't want to say, oh, well, we were dating for a while, then she was flirting with everybody else, so I kind of made her be exclusive. Really? Nah. Go and be an OnlyFans model, if that's what you want to do. But not with me, you know? Anyway. Now that I've told you how to fix the problem after it's happened, you know, in a useless way like I normally do, let's get on with it, shall we? So. One day it dawns on me that her reactions to this sound like just like she did with me when we were initially flirting. Oh, here we go. I didn't confront her, big mistake, and this went on for a while afterwards. Then all the signs started. She's withdrawn, looks at her phone all the time, doesn't want to do anything physical, the usual that you've been told before. Yeah. I head to the store a few days later and find Jamie and his girlfriend, I know, shocker, Alison, talking about nothing in particular, but when I shake her hand, I get a little jolt of electricity up my spine. Oh, okay. Alison is like 15 years older than all of us. She's in her 40s. But is definitely hot and wears D&D Dungeon Master t-shirts, things like that. The day goes on, but that was the first time I met Alison. When I said to Jamie, so is that your girlfriend? He was like, yeah, and? Geez, dude, no need to snap at me. Yeah, and this is what they do, man. This is what snakes do. This is what snakes do. Because they are a snake, they assume every other guy out there is also a snake. Now, don't get me wrong, I know every guy out there is an animal, don't, you know, and if a girlfriend of mine is friends with a load of guys, I generally say to her, look, you realise they all want to fuck you, right? Like, you realise that's what, they all want to fuck you. That's a given. Even if it's not outwardly, you know, they're not saying, even if they don't know it, they all want to fuck you. You know, the amount of times I've been told, no, they don't, only for it to come back crying a few days later. Oh my God, so and so tried something with me. Yeah, of course they did. Of course they did. Because like, you don't listen. Like, when I know what men are because I am one. Okay, I'm a normal dude. I'm not friends with any woman that I don't know. Yeah, you know what? I don't think I'm friends with any woman that if I'm single and they said to me, hey, let's fuck, I'd say no. Like, nearly every woman I'm friends with, like, I would absolutely, yeah, definitely. They're all attractive, nice women. So there you go. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, snakes act that way when they are, shall I say, acting in snaky ways. They assume every other man is like that. There's a difference between being an animal, being a man, and being an animal, and wanting to be with women, and wanting to be with other guys, women. That is another thing entirely. Don't do that, guys. Don't be a douche. Be a bro, right? Build men up. We need it. We need it. Some of us don't, but most of us do. Most of us need a little bit of a shot on the arm from time to time. A few days later, I went to the record store a few doors down to get Jess a present for her birthday. Oh, by the way, I have been told a few times on the channel, like, oh, I don't think that way. I'm friends with lots of women. A dude, and I bet you're not getting laid. I'm just going to put that out there. If you're friends with a lot of women and you're a guy, good luck getting laid, because no woman will touch you. No woman will touch you because they will see that you're already friends with a lot of women and they'll be like, either that guy can't get a woman, or he's a bit of a, you know, he's a bit of a underwear sniffer. Like, he's a bit of a, you know, he'll just hang around until you give him some, sort of a thing, you know, and that's not sexy. I know a few men like that who have generally been converted over the years to, like, listen, hang around with your own kind, dudes. The only way you're going to learn, do not learn about pulling women from women. They're useless, they're bad at it, they can't do it. I have lesbian friends who will tell you, women are shit at trying to pull. They can't do it. They're just terrible at it, right, okay? Trying to learn from a woman how to pull a woman is like a bear asking a salmon how to catch other salmon. It doesn't work. You need to hang around with bears. You need to talk to bears, right? Even lesbians. Do not listen to other women. Go and find a dude and ask him how he does it. And he will sit you down as a bro and he will tell you how he does it, because we love it. We love talking about shit like that and, like, talking about, you know, relationships and stuff. Like, man, just go out there and ask. Yeah, a bro will take you aside and talk to you, right? Anyway. A few days later, I went to the record store, a few doors down from the hobby shop, to get Jess a present for her birthday. I headed down there and was browsing away when I got a tap on the shoulder. Alison. We talked about Jess and what I wanted to get her, and about her and Jamie. She mentioned she thought he was a little young. She mentioned she thought he was a little young for her, but he's a nice guy. Alright, so you're talking to Alison about Jamie. Okay. So you're talking about records, and then all of a sudden you're talking about you and Jess, and then you get talking about Alison and Jamie. Fair enough. To which I agreed. I shouldn't have. Right, so Alison says this guy's a bit too young for me, and you just agree with her? Oh, you are not smooth, my friend. Oh my god. I shouldn't have. Yeah, no shit. On the back of my bill for my Mars Volta record, Alison placed her number and told me to text her so we could all do a double date or something. And why the hell not, I thought. Okay, cool. So a few days go by, again, and Jess is, once again, being withdrawn. Okay, I'm gonna head out here, right? You may get a woman's phone number as a friend if you're all in a group together or something, you know, that kind of a thing. No woman will give you her phone number one-on-one unless she's interested in you. I'm going to see if this goes that way. Maybe I'm wrong. I only read the first one in this sequence, so I've not read this one yet. So I'm going to say that Alison's got something for this guy, but we'll see, shall we? I head down to Jess's place to give her gift. And when she opens it, she starts crying. And it all comes out. Her and Jamie have been carrying on for months, behind my back. Typical, heartbreaking, unsurprising now that I know the signs. It turns out she couldn't take the guilt of being given the thoughtful and expensive gift, so came clean. Well, how nice for her. Yeah, exactly. Have you noticed how these people are only ever sorry when they're guilted into it by other things? You know, she was quite willing to carry on the charade until you gave her that record, man. Don't be going back to this woman, it's over. She actually had the gall to look upset in a I fucked everything up, didn't I way, when I took back the gift and the receipt and headed back to my place. The record was a top-of-the-line vinyl and was kind of expensive. When I got back, I looked at my hobby supplies on the shelf and wanted to smash it all, blaming my hobby for introducing me to the wench. A wench I still loved, despite myself. Yeah, man, I've done that with gaming before. You know, women have ruined certain hobbies for me for a little while, if I've met them through that hobby. It takes a while to come back from it. Do not get rid of it, though. Do not fall out of love with the hobby because of a woman. It's not the hobby's fault. It's not the hobby's fault. I don't know what came over me then, but I texted Alison, asking her if I could meet her, as I needed to talk. When she asked if I was okay, I said I'd rather discuss it face to face, as I needed a bit of advice about Jess. She agreed, and I met her at a local bar. I hope the plot thickens. When I told her what had happened, she didn't even seem surprised. She had a smile on her face that drifted to one side, and just said, "Young men like him never learn, I'm afraid. I should know, I married one." Oh well. I could tell she was hurt though. So we got to consoling me with beer. Then more beer. And when we were talking about other things, the hobby, life, laughing all the while in general, she told me a story about this tournament she went to in 2007 when she got tabled by a 14-year-old boy, and then went home and told her mum that exact sentence with no context. Yeah, I got tabled by a 14-year-old boy. Does not sound very good. Apparently, her mum went very white. We all laughed. Well, we both laughed. Then we are outside waiting for a cab. I get in the cab first, as my ride is further away. I stagger into the back seat and close the door, before hearing the door slam beside me. There is Alison. She is looking very nervous. Nightcap, she asks. I fucking told ya. Told ya. Right, okay. Alright. Told ya, like, no woman gives you her number one-on-one. She may give you her number in a group. That's fair enough. Like, if we're all swapping numbers, you know, that's great. But if a woman gives you her number one-on-one, dude, it's all she wrote. It's all she wrote. She's interested. Sure, I answer. Good man. Good man. We head back to her place, and it happens. In the morning, I tell her I don't even feel like what I did was wrong, as I really like her, and as far as I'm concerned, me and Jess are done. But deep down, I know I still have feelings for Jess. Alison understands. Oh, she's an older woman and all that. Yeah, man. Like, she pats me on the backside and leaves, telling me she'll call me. Older women are the best, dude. Older women are the best. Like they just know. Like, they've been through some shit, right? You know, some people call it like, oh, these are damaged goods. No, I don't call it that way, man. If you find a hot older woman, dude, all good. All is good with the world. They're one of two ways, right? They either know how to hurt you really deeply, or they've been through so much shit that they're just done with it, and there's no drama at all. One of the two. You can normally guess which ones they are by just talking to them. If she's in her 30s and 40s and she's talking like she's like in her late teens and 20s, yeah, walk away. Walk away. Because that woman will break your mind in several different places, because not only does she have the wherewithal and the magnetism of an older woman, but she also has the brains and the smarts to actually break your world in half. If a woman is in her 30s and 40s and is talking like she is a woman in her 30s and 40s, go for it. Good girl. So, she has called me, and we have had several sleepovers, quote-unquote, ever since. The problem is, Jamie broke up with Jess the moment Alison went home and dumped him for cheating. Now he won't leave her alone, and Jess is hounding me. Yeah, what a surprise, right? What a surprise. The cheaters now realise that they are on the back foot and so want to... Dude, Jess doesn't want to get back with you because she loves you. She wants to get back with you because you had the gall to dump her. You had the gall to walk away and not look back. How dare you? Same thing's going for Jamie as well. The only reason he's chasing Alison is because she had the gall and the strength to say, do you know what, go fuck yourself, dude. I found someone else. Bye. You know, like, it's all about ego with them. It's all about ego. My resolve is breaking here, man. Don't. We had some good times, me and Jess. What the hell do I do? I've lost the venue for which I do my hobby, and there isn't really anywhere else around here to do it. Just a city that is an hour journey away. I have a decent job, but this is really fucking me up. I've not touched the hobby in a while. Does this thing happen often in the hobby by your experience? I want to keep the hobby and keep Alison, but things just seem so fucked up right now. Anyways, thanks. Love you long time and all that, John. Okay. Number one, I will solve this for you, okay? I very rarely get to do this so cleanly. Number one, do not go back to Jess. That's done. That's over, right? Do not go back to that hobby store. That's also done and over. Too many memories. Go on a day trip with Alison to this other city. Go to that new gaming store and buy her first set of Warhammer 40,000. Make some new friends. Go to that. Make the hour-long journey to the new city. Make some new friends. Have some fun and play your hobby and be happy with this Alison girl, man. Do not go back to Jess. Do not. I'm telling you now. Do not go back. Never go back. Never, ever, ever go back. Okay? Just leave. Just take your dignity and leave. The best thing I can say for you. You got out scot-free, my friend. You are so lucky. You are so lucky. You even got revenge on the guy who snaked your girl. Dude, you are so lucky. Take the win. Like, learn to take yes for an answer. Life is giving you yes for an answer. Take yes. Take Alison. Take your hobby and go somewhere else. And don't let this stuff poison the hobby for you. It's not the hobby's fault. Enjoy your Raven Guard army. Enjoy your hot gamer hobby MILF. And live life to the fullest, my friend. Do not go back. Message me back again. I may not read it out, but message me back again and tell me what you're going to do. But do not go back to this woman. If you do, I'll be very disappointed. Alright? Anyway. Love you all a long time. I may speak to you over the weekend on Sunday. If I don't, I will speak to you on Monday. Love you all. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. I will speak to you very, very, very soon. Have a good one. Bye.